Here we go. Stand by, please. Rolling on 6. On
You're
6.
quite good.
Yeah, here we go. Welcome to a Short Shots episode of the Celebrity Archaeology Podcast, a 5-minute wrap-up of yesterday's stars, sponsored in part by the Built on Dreams Media Network and contributions from listeners like you. I'm your host, Adam Scull. If this is the first time listening to our podcast, welcome. If you're a returning listener, thanks for coming back. My goal is to help preserve the cultural heritage of celebrity photography from decades past for the benefit of future generations. Pull up a comfortable chair, hang out with me, and have a great time reminiscing about your favorite film and TV stars. No, it's not a young Elton John. It's Liberace, Mr. Showmanship, photographed in 1980. The Italian-Polish-American performer was born in West Allis, Wisconsin in 1919. He began playing the piano at age 4 and performed with the Chicago Symphony at age 20. The classically trained pianist, who was bullied in his youth because of his effeminate behavior, turned glitz, glamour, expensive costumes, and a signature prop of the candelabra on the piano into high-voltage performances on television and in Vegas showrooms. He never talked about his sexuality, but initiated a few major libel lawsuits against the press who tried to out him. One British tab even labeled him a fruit. The biggest secret he kept was that he was dying of AIDS. While Liberace often was the butt of jokes, he had plenty of admirers, including middle-aged housewives. Elvis Presley became a good friend and looked up to him for inspiration. "I don't give concerts," he said. "I put on a show." Liberace and his piano weren't enough for the concert halls and stages. His wardrobe became a huge part of his act, and the heavy costumes accented with fur, jewels, and fringe were put into the Liberace Museum in Vegas. The museum was opened in 1977 and closed its doors in 2010. It averaged 400,000 visitors a year and was second only to the Hoover Dam in top Vegas tourist attractions. Liberace's decline, which he attributed to a strict watermelon diet, was actually listed as cytomegalovirus pneumonia as a result of AIDS. He died at age 64 in 1987. His secret love life became exposed when 2 of his lovers sued him. Scott Thorson, who was with him for 5 years, filed a $113 million palimony suit against the entertainer, but he received only a rumored $95,000. In 1987, his lover of 7 years, Carrie James Wyman, died of AIDS. They began their affair when Wyman was only 18 and Liberace was still with Thorson at the time. There have been many entertainers, but there is only one Liberace. His signature line, which he loved repeating, was that he was laughing all the way to the bank. It's time to say goodbye. Thanks for joining us for the Celebrity Archaeology Podcast, brought to you in part by the Built on Dreams and Media Network. Be sure to visit celebrityarchaeology.com to see many of our photos and pick up the link to the podcast. Love this episode of the podcast? Head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, leave a review, and tell your friends about it. It would be very much appreciated. Join us next time for the Celebrity Archaeology Podcast and learn from the past.